How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through Marcelo Bielsa's tactics with Leeds United and how you can implement them in FIFA. So before we get started, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what other tactics you want to see, any gameplay tips you want to see, and any FIFA 22 news or concepts that you want to learn about. So let's jump into it. So taking a look at the typical setup that Bielsa has used with Leeds United, you'll see it's a 4-1-4-1 formation. This is slightly different to a 4-3-3 like someone like Pep Guardiola would use, so that's what we're going to be using in game as well. This is how the lineup generally looked with his championship side with Leeds 2 seasons ago. However, this season's a little bit different in terms of personnel in the Premier League. However, it's really the same tactical setup, just with some different players moving into separate positions. And moving into the tactics in game, we come to our first part of Bielsa's distinctive style, which is his energetic pressing. If we wanted to be truly realistic, we could probably set this defensive style to constant pressure rather than press after possession loss. But I think in FIFA it's probably more suitable and more effective to just use press after possession loss so you don't tire your players and run them into the ground. For width, we're going with 5 just because we want to be balanced in our width. We want to be able to close down any player, whether they're narrow or wide, so setting it very narrow or very wide would really just complicate things and keep people out of position, so we're going with 5. As for the depth, we're going with 9, just one step down from 10, which you might have thought for like the really high line, high press, but 9 just gives a little more cushion for sitting back just a little bit more. Obviously we want to keep pressing, but we do not want to give too much space in behind. We want to be close to the attacking players wherever they may be. Also, just by being a slight bit deeper, it means that we're more likely to be running at someone, pressing from behind and going up to them, rather than chasing them as they run in behind, which is really not what the press is about. It's about forcing them back, forcing them into mistakes so we can capitalize on those and be running right at goal already. And now moving into our attacking tactics, of course we're going with fast build-up. Bielsa is definitely known for those lightning quick attacks, really going from back to front as quickly as possible. They do keep possession at times. They won't just pump the ball into the box just for the sake of it, but they are looking to quickly progress to get up the pitch and really make things happen in the attacking third. For width, we're going with 7 just because we want to have a good amount of spacing. You'll see on counterattacks there's a lot of room down the wings, and you want to keep that ability to play balls into space and play them into the channels. For our attacking players in box, we're just going with 5. Similar to the defensive width, we just want to have a balanced number. Sometimes players making those runs will get into the box, sometimes they won't. We don't want to force them either way, so we're really letting that AI just dictate where players are moving. For set pieces, do what you think is best. I went with 3 for corners and 2 for free kicks, as I think this is the most accurate, but do what you think is going to work best for your style. And now let's take a look at player instructions. So starting from the back, we definitely want our keeper coming for crosses and acting as a sweeper keeper, really just being proactive with that high press to come get the ball so we can start those counterattacks as quickly as possible. Moving ahead to our right back, I went with balanced for the attacking runs. You could definitely do join the attack, but from watching Leeds last season, I felt like Luke Ayling was maybe a little more hesitant making those runs forward. He waited just a little bit longer as possession builded. He kind of helped build possession from the back almost as a third center back, and then he would make those runs forward, so I went with balanced. And then we just go with overlap for the run type, just making sure that he's holding that width as the winger cuts inside. And whereas our right back was slightly more conservative, we have our left back bombing forward. This is the role done by LAKEY and also Stuart Dallas, really just getting forward as much as possible, overlapping, adding to the attacking third as quickly as possible, so we definitely want them on join the attack and overlap. And as we have our center backs on default instructions, we now move ahead to our CDM, which is the Calvin Phillips role. We definitely want him on cut passing lanes just to be really hunting the ball wherever he can, moving around to try to win it back. Stay back while attacking. You could also use drop between defenders. I think stay back while attacking is a little more realistic. And then we were actually using cover wing. Most people on a single CDM would use cover center to try to keep them central and cutting those passing lanes through the middle. However, when we lose the ball high and we're getting countered, we want Phillips filling in behind those overlapping fullbacks, so whichever wing that ball is turned over on, he is moving over to that side to help cut down that angle and prevent the through ball down the wing. So he's really in this role where he is tracking down the ball wherever he can to win it back for us. For our right center mid role, this is going to be more of a balanced box-to-box player, so we're telling him to stay on edge of box for cross just because we don't want him too all over the place. We are on cover center just so he's kind of holding that position defensively, but really we're just keeping this role balanced. You could flip this with the left center mid, just make sure you have one midfielder that's a little more balanced. I've seen some people probably lean towards using free roam for the positioning freedom. I just keep it on stick to position just so we have one midfielder in the center who's really keeping that reliable spacing. And next to him with the left center mid, we have our more attacking midfielder. So this would be Pablo Hernandez, sometimes even Rodrigo, really more of an attacker playing in a midfield role. So we're definitely having them on get forward because we want them making those attacking runs. Balanced crossing runs so they could pop up in the box or drift around, and of course free roam because we want them filling into spaces wherever the opportunity is. So really a creative player who can pop up wherever they want to make an impact in the final third, and then cover center just to keep them central in defensive actions. Moving to our wingers, I'm using both of the wingers on the same instructions here for the right mid and left mid. So first we have comeback on defense. This is really key because we really want them getting involved. We want them dropping back in front of the fullbacks to help win the ball back. Cut inside just helps them get a little more involved, especially as wide mids instead of wingers. As they're coming forward, they'll cut inside. Get in behind, really just encouraging them to make those runs forward, and get into the box for cross is really great for sometimes when you can break down the wing with one winger and you have that opposite side winger making their run into the box at the far post for an easy tap in. And finally up top with our striker, we just have the instruction of drift wide. And what this means is that he's going to drift around and combine with the different wingers, with the left center mid who's getting forward. Really just means that he pops up in space and he makes runs wide to open up channels. And with mixed attacking runs, it means that he could run in behind, he could show short for the ball, he could act as a target man. Really someone who's an all-around striker like Patrick Bamford who can get involved in any manner of ways and pop up in any manner of positions. So you really just want someone who can get involved wherever possible. They don't have to be the star of the show. They don't have to be purely running in behind like a poacher. They don't have to score all of your goals. It's just whatever helps the team. And now that we've covered the tactics and instructions, let's jump into a clip. So you'll see here, receiving the throw in with the left back, we can turn and face inside with the left center mid, passing around back and forth, and that run opens up. You see, as I mentioned, with the striker drifting wide, it opens up that channel for the right center mid to make the run into. Even though he's not being told to get forward because he's unbalanced, he cedes that space, and then he runs into it for an easy goal. In our next clip, you'll see we're being aggressive in the press, winning the ball straight into the striker. Because he's unbalanced, he can stand there and receive it. He's not just taking off, and he can turn and play. And look how much space we have on the wing. So many runners going forward. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead to a goal, but still a great chance. And you'll see here as he receives the ball, he has so many runners on either side that he can play to. We get it wide so that we can run down the line and put in the cross. Unfortunately, I didn't stay wide enough. If you've seen my crossing video, you know what I mean, but it still leads to a good chance that we probably should have scored. And next we have a bit of a longer sequence just showing how this works both defensively and attacking. So you see we're pressing here, we're being very aggressive. Because we're not quite at 10 depth, we have that one player who's hanging back just a little, he's not stepping up immediately. And then we can start to build as we win the ball back, invite the press, play through it to go wide. And again, we're moving forward, we're already into the opponent's half. Quick one-touch passing and then look at the huge amount of space. Unfortunately, we don't score, but again, another great opportunity. And into our next clip, you'll see the striker has dropped deep to help build play. Unfortunately, it's a stupid pass forward, but we're right there with a great press to help win it high up the field. And sometimes the press is your best playmaker. Easy opportunity because of the turnover. And into our final clip, you'll see we are breaking the press. Quick one-touch passing, being bold with breaking the lines, lay it off, and now we're moving wide. So definitely similar to the Pep video, we're going narrow, we're going wide, then back inside, and it's an easy opportunity. And you see as the ball goes wide, as the defense has to shift across because we're so wide, look at the space it opens up. There's probably 3 or 4 different players there who could have won that header, but either way, it's a goal because there's so many options. And before we wrap up, some of you might be thinking that Bielsa doesn't just play 4-1-4-1, he does sometimes play 3-3-1-3 or 3-3-3-1, and that's definitely true. Unfortunately, in FIFA, it's really hard to replicate this accurately, so my best workaround is really just a modification of the 4-1-4-1. So all you need to do is put both fullbacks on join the attack, your defensive midfielder, the Calvin Phillips role, on drop between defenders, your right center mid, your more balanced midfielder, on stay back while attacking, And then really everything else is the same, because your winger is going to push forward, your wingbacks push forward, your defensive midfielder drops between defenders, and your right center mid kind of holds as that one center midfielder between the two wingbacks, and your one more attacking midfielder on the left will push forward as kind of the one attacking midfielder behind the striker. So in summary, you'll have your back three of your two center backs and your DM, your next line of three of your wing backs and your right center mid, your next line of three of your wingers and attacking midfielder or your left center mid, and then your striker. So it might defend really more like a 4-1-4-1, but in an offensive style and an attacking style, you're getting that 3-3-3-1 that Bielsa likes to go with. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Really appreciate you watching, and if you can like, comment, subscribe, let me know what else you want to see. Still working on the next version for the Pep Tactics video. That'll be for Bayern Munich and Manchester City combined, and then also working on some other tactics videos, some FIFA 22 content, and some gameplay tip videos as well. So as we get closer to FIFA 22, let me know what you want to hear about, what you want to see me discuss, what you can learn from an elite player. So thanks again guys for watching, and have a great one.